How you doing today, folks? And welcome to Red Wolf EDC. In particular, this is the second week of the month, and as such, you know it's time for the fucking Friday. Now, as always, these videos are not monetized, so if you see a whole bunch of ads, that's YouTube being on their greedy bullshit. So please, by all means, let me know so I can promptly cuss them out. Now, been quite a few different things going on this week, right? One of the major ones is I wanted to record this video outside and talk about something that has been really bothering me, and I'm hoping people in this area can kind of weigh in. Is I guess out here there's a disease you can get from ticks in the North Carolina / Virginia area that makes you allergic to all red meat, all dairy, it just pretty much all of the good foods in life. And I've gone from walking out into the freaking forest and hanging out with the spiders and just exploring and being a big giant ass kid to being almost agoraphobic. I pretty much live on this porch, but as far as exploring the forest and everything else, y'all, I like red meat. I like protein. I'm not a huge fan of milk, but I love eggs. And not being able to consume any dairy or processed meat or protein or red meat or whatever, that kind of sounds like hell. So this is my outdoors, and I just kind of chill here now. So today's carry is the Microtech Knives MSI. Love this freaking knife. This is the first gen, which has the bigger ram lock, a little thicker overall, but just an absolutely amazing knife. I do have a fluted that I got recently that I really like. I thought I would like it more than the standard MSI. For whatever reason, I don't. I love this first gen MSI. I really feel like Microtech got it right the first time around, and every other time they've kind of made it a little bit worse, then a little bit better, and a little bit worse again. It's like one step forward, two steps back, and keep going back and forth. Um, I don't get it. I think the more modern version of the Stitch is better, but the original MSI is just such an incredible knife that I just can't get it out of my pocket. So another update. I've been doing the workout thing pretty heavily. I'm sure you guys can probably tell I've lost quite a bit of weight already. I have dropped from a 47 because I was getting pretty damn fat, inch waist, to a 41. I'm normally a 38 or a 36, normally a 38 because I love me some food. So that's almost there. I got another 3 inches to hit my normal weight, and then I might just cut back to 36s. Fucking mosquito. Because to really just show off the definition of the muscle mass and everything else. But that's going well. I'm not walking with a cane anymore. It hurts to walk constantly. It is a dull, aching, stabbing, throbbing pain that kind of goes from between a 3 to an 8. It never stops whenever I'm walking. But I have talked to my doctor, and it's not good, but it's probably not going to get any worse. But it also might not get any better. So he said you can use a cane to be able to take off some of that weight and probably be in less pain. But if you want to push past that pain, there is a greater chance of you being able to rebuild and re-strengthen that muscle and everything else because the bone itself is healed and the tendon itself is well on the way to being healed. So you can do it, just don't push yourself. So I'm no longer using a cane, which I absolutely love. So that's great. But now I'm in pain whenever I walk, anywhere. So that's interesting. Recently got a hold of my buddy's flak jacket. Put a weighted vest type of thing inside of it and started doing walks with those. Basically, I'm trying to get to the point to where I'm so used to carrying so much weight that whenever I take it off, I can just exist without any problems. And so far, it's honestly not worked. I did 4 miles a couple days ago, and I'm still in pain now. But I did talk to my doctor, and they said that might be effective, but he can't recommend it. but he also doesn't say it's not going to work. So I'm just kind of shooting a shot in the dark here because I want to be able to like walk normally again. I'm a pretty active person. I like hiking. I like doing long treks. There's times I'll go out hunting and I'll literally like do 15, 20 miles over the period of like 2 or 3 days, 2 days, 3 days sometimes if I'm being lazy. And that's just not feasible right now because 3 miles had me wanting to die, or 4 miles had me wanting to die. So that's, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Getting better. Hopefully, I will keep on getting better, but at the very least, not walking with a cane because 6'8", 270 pounds right now, and my big ass walking with a cane. Like, dude, I get a lot of looks in general, right? Not because I'm like the hottest shit around. I'm okay looking, but more because of my actual size. But my size compared to my cane and also my angry face because I'm in pain, so I'm just like. I've literally had children look up at me and then run away. Yeah, I've had a lot of weird shit happen in my life. People looking at me being nervous or whatever, right? But like, never had a child go, ah, and just sprint away. That happened. I was walking with a cane, just doing this like painful grunt as I'm just like tapping along, trying to move. So, that's a positive, I guess. um, Also, so one of the more random things I've ever done in my life is rice bucket training, right? And it literally involves, rotating your wrist and rice and doing a bunch of other different types of stuff and like opening and closing your hands to strengthen the muscles around your actual fingers and everything else. And I did it almost as a joke. I was gonna do like a gag video for you guys. I did it for 7 days. I loved it. Immediately, I had no wrist pain. For those of you that aren't aware, I used to fight professionally for a couple of years. Never by any means like this amazing fighter. I can whoop the average person's ass for sure. But as far as that like elite tier of athlete, I'm not that. I'm just fucking not. So I go from a whole bunch of wins to going to the next tier and I get my ass whooped. that was my professional career. But anyways, while doing all that type of stuff, I created problems in my wrist. I had multiple boxers fractures, some other stuff like that, where it creates like almost like a constant like hand pain. And that's gone. I will say when I did it for 7 days straight, it was gone. I was like 26 or 27 days straight of doing it, and it got worse. So I think 7 days straight is great, but once you get used to it, you really want to like taper that down. I do it twice a week now, along with the rest of my grip strength training, forearm exercises, everything else, and that pain is back to being just gone. So it's like an amazing thing that like literally shoving your hands in a bucket of rice has cured injuries that I've had for like years and years and years and years and years. Now they're just gone. Like before, I could never do this. Like this seems like such a simple motion, right? And it is. But I'd be like this. I could rotate fully like this, but on the wraparound, it just wasn't happening. And now I can do that with both hands. The left's always been worse than the right, but like no issue, no problems. I also have carpal tunnel. I've had that for a very long time. I don't have that anymore. I used to sleep with a brace that wraps around your actual wrist and keeps your hand like this, basically a metal piece that wraps around and just like this to open up your actual, like, I guess, tunnel. I don't know, I'm not a doctor. It opens up whatever in your wrist. I don't have that anymore. I don't have to wear that. There are times when I really, really work my grip strength that my hands feel like they're on fire. And I might want to wear that, but I don't need to. It isn't because I have carpal tunnel, it's because I work this muscle like crazy and they're like freaking the hell out. So repetitive motion injuries, previous injuries, stuff from like fighting and everything else, broken bones, damaged nerves, stuff like that, and carpal tunnel has all been cured by essentially rolling my hands around in a bucket of rice for 10 minutes a day, twice a week now. Crazy. Like the things that fix our bodies are insane because this is again supposed to be a gag and it's kind of changed my life. And I was talking to my doctor and I was like, can I put my foot in a thing of rice and just try moving it around? So I've actually started doing that now. And So far, it sucks. It's like genuine agony. I mentioned before, my pain goes from like 3 to 8. While doing that rice bucket exercise with my foot, it's a 10. Like it is almost unbearable. So I've doing that slowly but surely. But I mean, it's the same principle, right? Like your hands, your feet, they're both series of joints, tendons, muscles, and everything else. So like it should theoretically do something. I will say when I first started doing the rice bucket stuff, my hands were completely dead for like 6 hours afterwards. Wasn't days, wasn't weeks. People go, "Oh, I did rice bucket training and I wasn't able to close my hands for a week." I think you're full of shit personally if that happened to you. Um, for me, it was about 6 hours, but it was a very bad 6 hours to where everything I grabbed, I dropped. I broke like 6 glasses. I started drinking out of my daughter's sippy cup. I took the lid off or whatever, and I walked around with that because if I was going to drop it, I would just have to mop up water instead of clean up glass. Like it wasn't great, but I'm not there anymore. But so I'm thinking that's what's kind of going on right now with my foot. It's already a previous injury, and it's more recent injury, as in these are all pretty old. So I think once it actually starts to get a little bit more better, and I start doing the actual training, it'll probably make a massive, massive difference. Here's hoping. I obviously don't know for sure, but I'm very, very hopeful. I think it actually will do something. So that's what's been going on. I also want to talk a little bit about the community. So I'm going to release a dedicated video in the near future, right, talking about like how to buy and sell online because a lot of people don't seem to know. They also don't know how dangerous it is, how many times people get burned, how to prevent yourself from getting burned. I am the only person that I know that's never been burned. That's crazy. I promise y'all, I'm not that smart. Like what I do is not that complicated. But yeah, I've never been burned. I've had people do chargebacks before, some other stuff like that, and try to rob me that way. But I also won those disputes as well. So I'm gonna do a video talking about that. Here's just a brief overview. So whenever you're dealing with PayPal, right? People have this misconception, right, that PayPal goods and services equals a chargeback. First off, whether it's PayPal goods and services or friends and family, they can both equal a chargeback in the exact same way. If you say something is fraud to PayPal and it's fucking friends and family, it's a chargeback. You don't have to talk to your bank. What you do have though is that PayPal says no, and you lose that. Then you go to your bank, and then you go ahead and try to do a chargeback from there, and then that you're pretty much always going to lose if that happens. Now, the advantage, right, of doing a transaction for goods and services is that if because someone does a chargeback, can't talk. If someone does a chargeback, right, then you're going to be able to talk to PayPal. You're going to show them a tracking number, which shows a delivered, doesn't need to be signed for, right? Just a delivered notification that it was delivered to the address on PayPal's file. If that's the case, you won. Doesn't matter what they do or whatever, what they say, you won. If they try doing something shady, it's because someone doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. So call PayPal, speak to a supervisor, show them what the proof you have or whatever that it was actually delivered, and then again, you won. It's not hard. Sometimes you get lazy ass people on the other end that just want to say, "Oh, you lost. You lose your money. Fuck you." It happens. But if you speak to a supervisor and you again show that you have a package that has been delivered to the address on the PayPal client's page or whatever, then it's an immediate win. Now, if you want to go ahead and use goods and services, there is obviously a downside. PayPal now basically makes you file taxes for that type of thing. So you're going to get a 1099-G, I think it is. It sucks. It is what it is. I run businesses online anyways, a couple different ones. So I'm required to do these type of things regardless. So it's not a huge deal for me. For me, I just put it towards my retirement. It's one of those things that you also have an option to do when you're filing your taxes. Be like, hey, yes, this money's here, but also hold this, and hold that, and then it goes toward your Social Security and everything else whenever you want to retire. That's what I personally do. If you don't have that and you don't have to deal with online businesses and everything else, then it's a pain in the ass, but it also gives you some form, right, of protection. not the greatest protection, but it is definitely protection. And unfortunately, Zelle, Venmo, which even though Venmo is also PayPal, they have very different policies, right? But Venmo, Zelle, freaking, what's that other one called? Um, I forgot what it's called, honestly. But like almost every other, actually, literally every other transaction form out there that you can send money online, there is no protection. So even if you don't want to use goods and services, it kind of benefits you to use goods and services as long as you're aware of where your actual rights are. Another big thing is there are entire groups out there right now that have basically, or they're vouching for scammers. Like that's their whole purpose. So if someone gives you a deal that seems too good to be true, right? Like I recently got a Marauder, a Slim Mini Marauder, right, for like $300, which is a really good price. It's not the best I've ever seen. I've seen them go for literally $200. That's a Goldilocks price. $300 is on the lower end, but still fair, right? Even still, it's definitely reason to be nervous about that because these things sell online for $600, $700. So $300, half off. You know, what's the catch? I told the guy, hey, here's my history in the community. Here's my channel. Here's my Instagram. Here's some of my business contacts or whatever. Here's a vouch page that I just created on this group. Here's a link to that group right now, as well as that page. It's in 4 different prominent groups that definitely aren't scammers. Everyday Blaze, Knife Trading, Sales and Feedback. I did also the Medford group, some other stuff like that. If you want to do business, we can. The only way I'm going to deal with you, though, is that if you send the knife first. And as soon as I actually get it, that same day, you will be paid. Here's my work. If something seems too good to be true, use that. Or at the very least, be like, hey, here's this person in the group. They're offering to do a proxy. You know, are you open to that? Because more often than not, it doesn't cost anything extra. So basically how a proxy works is that they send the knife to a member of the community. That member of the community receives that knife, checks it out, verifies it, makes sure it's as advertised, sends the buyer pictures, videos, evidence, everything else to show that, hey, are you sure this is good? Once you say that, yes, this is good, you then pay that freaking person, or you then pay your buyer, or you then pay your seller, and that like proxy or whatever, they go about sending it to you. So it's a pretty safe way to go about it. I've done this before with Frankie Kearney, some other people in the Trading Sales and Feedback group. It's just another way to kind of protect yourself because our economy right now is fucking terrible. Like it's absolutely dog shit. It's not going to get any better anytime soon. Rather, what you want to believe about what caused it. Let's not talk about politics right now, right? But whatever you think caused it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, like, we're here, and it's bad. And people that are honestly good people that I've known for a long time are basically faced with a decision to either feed their family or to keep their integrity. Me personally, my integrity is worth more than pretty much anything else. But for other people, man, like that family comes first, and it's not okay. But I mean, with things the way they are right now, man, like it's happening all the time. So protect yourself because even people that were good to go for a long time, quite a few of them just simply aren't anymore. And it is what it is. It sucks. It is deeply unfortunate, but protect yourself. What else? I think that's actually going to be about it. So I'll be doing these videos every other Friday, so twice a month. I was going to do them every single week, but I've noticed that my life is not that interesting, and I just tend to say the same shit over and over and over again, like for weeks, and that's just not super interesting. So if anything crazy happens, I will definitely update you guys. Do video again, maybe once per week. If not, 2 per week, guaranteed. But as always, folks, I love you all. Please take care, and bye-bye.